What you got there, buddy?
A deer.
Huh? Oh, good.
And you are about to go hog hunting with me today. It's early morning. I'm out here by my little cabin. Now I've got a little recipe that if you're an old camp cook, chances are pretty good you've made this a lot. If not, you know, it may be something new to you. But I've got about, a pound of cubed up venison.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life.
Small body.
I think it's young.
Yeah, it's young. Still looks pretty young. He still looks pretty young.
He's unbranched on the left side. See it?
Oh, I'm waiting for him to get open. Yeah, he's open.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter. Trijicon, brilliant aiming solutions.
Got word. Stetson harvested an old mature 8-point we've been trying to shoot. It's been a pretty rough weekend so far. We didn't see a whole lot this morning. There was you hear a lot of trucks, a lot of four-wheelers out. It's just not a lot of movement. That moon is keeping them up all night, feeding during the middle of the day. And today the temperature rose up into the 80s, and I went back out. Sit till almost 11 o'clock this morning, and then went back out about 2:30, and I had one doe walk through probably 6 o'clock, 6:10. And Stetson had this old buck come in. He was sitting with my dad, and I heard the shot. And we got the phone call, so let's go there and see what old Stetson's got laying on the ground. He says he dropped it. What you got there, buddy?
A deer.
Huh? Oh, good. Pick his head up there. Let's see what you got. Let me see. How old do you think he is?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't really know.
It's about 5.5.
Well, this is the deer I shot today. We didn't get much deer because of the moon. So this buck walked out, and I decided to take him. He's 5.5 years old, and
He wouldn't have been much more than that, would he?
he's a real good buck, though.
That moon's been a heck of a problem for us, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
We haven't seen very many deer, have we?
No, sir.
Yep.
Very fat body, though.
He is. He's a big deer. He had a lot of body fat, didn't he? His kidneys were covered in fat, weren't they?
Yes, sir. Real big time.
Yep. You did good. What'd you shoot it with?
A 243, my new 243.
What type of bullets did you shoot it with?
Hornady bullets.
That's right. Did you good job, didn't it? How far did he run? Remind me.
0 foot.
You think that had something to do with the Hornady?
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Well, you did a good job, and I'm proud of you. You did a good justice of management, and the herd will thrive because of your decision to take this management buck. Proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
A Sportsman's Life is also made possible by Air Force Air Guns, AGM Global Vision, H3 Whitetail Solutions, and Pyramid Air. Well, howdy, my friends. It's Luke Clayton, and you are about to go hog hunting with me today. It's early morning. I'm out here by my little cabin behind the house here. Deer antlers showing in the background. Got my little 223. This is my hog rifle, and I have an AGM Global Rattler mounted on here. Killed a bunch of hogs with this thing, and we're going to kill one tonight. You're going to stick with me. We're going to go down to the woods, probably about a half a mile this direction. I've got a couple of corn feeders, but I've got a sounder of hogs coming in every evening, right around 8 o'clock, somewhere between 8 and 9:30. AGM Global Vision, folks, you cannot beat these. They're just excellent thermals, thermal scopes. For the money, you can get one of these for, this is a bit more expensive one, this one is, but you can get them for around $1,000. $2,000 you can step up a little bit. Excuse me. But for $1,000 you can get an AGM Global Vision scope that you can shoot hogs over a feeder at 75 yards. It'll step up your game if you're using digital night vision, that type of thing. Now we're going to try to film that through the hunt tonight. We're going to film it through the Rattler. Also, I have the AGM Global Taipan. It's a spotter, thermal spotter. We'll probably do some filming through it. Both of them have cameras on board, so you know that's going to help us. But I'm completely out of breakfast sausage. I'm going to try to get some pork tonight. Chances are about 99% good that we'll get one, and you know, we're going to turn it into some pork. So what let's do now, let's load up and go out a half a mile from here. I'm going to show you the setup. It's still morning now. We're going to get in there, not leave a lot of scent, but I'll show you where I'm going to be hunting tonight, and I want you to go with me on the hog hunt. We're going to have some fun, folks. Well, friends, we are here. This is the gate behind which I have killed about 6 hogs since January, one at a time. This is a hog killing spot, folks. I put a chair right here, and let's look. I actually sat right in this area here, and if you look right through here is my feeder. Setting back in the brush. That is a persimmon tree, friends, that feeder is setting on. Get a good look at it, but it throws corn about 8 o'clock this evening. We're going to be setting, actually it'll distribute corn at 8:15. We're going to be right back here, and we're going to kill us a hog right here. This will be about, if I get one tonight, this will be about 7 hogs. But this place is awesome. It's a persimmon tree that feeder is hanging on, and I'll give you a little closer shot of the persimmons. It's loaded with persimmons. Something else that makes this a great spot, we look right over here. It's hard to tell, but this is a big old pecan tree right here. When that pecan tree starts dropping pecans down, we have pecans here, we have persimmons here, and we have corn. So perfect spot. But right now we're hunting over bait, over corn, and we will resume we'll land back in here about 8 o'clock. See, can we get us a fat porker for sausage. And friends, here's a close-up of my Ultramatic feeder. These things last literally forever. I want to show you this. If you're looking for a good feeder motor, Ultramatic, you cannot beat them. But this is my hog killing place, and look at these persimmons. I'm going to show you this. This is one reason. There's a lot of alum in green persimmons. They'll pucker your mouth up. But trust me, hogs do not care. There'll be there's one on the ground. I guarantee you that will not be there in the morning. Those hogs wear them out. So, there's the feeder. Looking back at my gate, hunting blind is right there. We'll get them tonight, folks. Well, folks, as you can see, I hunt hogs a little differently than a lot of people. A lot of folks are out there with an AR looking at a bunch of hogs in a field, and they're trying to shoot multiple running hogs. But this is just the way I like to do it, because I'm actually hunting for meat. I want some tamale meat out of this hog that we're looking at here. So I kind of sat back and waited, and I wanted to pick the right hog, a good fat younger hog. I didn't really care if it was a boar or a sow. It just turned out to be a really healthy, fat, younger boar. Probably, I don't know, maybe 75, 80 pounds. It's kind of hard to judge. But made the good shot. I waited. I didn't want to be out tracking that hog. It was already dark, and, you know, I was thinking about the process of getting the meat chilled down. I waited until I could get a really good shot. And if you center those crosshairs where those were, right behind the jaw, that hog is not going anywhere. I mean, you hit with somewhere within the middle of that neck, he's going down. But anyway, hope you enjoy watching this little video. A lot of fun, and I did get a lot of really good meat out of it.
Good morning, sports fans. This is Bill Carey with Striper Express with your fishing tip on a Sportsman's Life. I've got good tips this week. This is the water separator made by Sierra. This is a 10 micron filter. Since they came out with those, we get great results. Clean gas. It's hard to buy clean gas around the lake. This right here is Startron. It's a fuel additive. Comes in a lot smaller bottle. We use a lot of this in our boats. This is a concentrated formula. It reduces ethanol, sludge, takes water out. This stuff's just incredible stuff. Very, very concentrated. But this is what we use. And grass grows around our trailers when we started using these. It's incredible. So get you some Startron fuel additive and the Sierra water separator and you'll be in business just like Striper Express. There's your fishing tip for this week. Thank you and go catch a fish.
Conservation Today is brought to you by Hayden Outdoors Real Estate, the brand that sells the land. Visit HaydenOutdoors.com to find or sell your farm, ranch, or recreational property.
This right here, if you don't know what it is, this is a hackberry tree. And I'm sure everybody's seen it. These are the berries of the hackberry. If you ever put them in your mouth, they're nice and sweet, and there's a seed inside. There's not really much to consume. But an interesting fact is, when you find these hackberry trees, a lot of times you'll find them on your fence rows. And that's because the birds like to eat them. And how they get there is when they release them out the backside, they release those seeds as well, and they plant, they germinate, and they go on those fence lines. But next time you got a bad taste in your mouth, grab a hackberry and think of bird.
Well, howdy folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and it's time for us to take a little break from our show and do our camp cooking segment. Now, I've got a little recipe that, if you're an old camp cook, chances are pretty good you've made this a lot. If not, you know, it may be something new to you. But I've got about, a pound of cubed up venison. This is some venison ham steak that's cubed up in maybe 1-inch square cubes. We're going to make some smothered venison steak with rice and gravy. So in this sack right here is, I've already cubed it up and seasoned it, but that's about roughly a pound of cubed up venison steak. Very simple recipe. In here we have a big yellow onion, chopped up, coarse chopped. The ingredients are not many. And then this is just a can of cream of mushroom soup. We've got some rice that we're going to add to it a little bit later, but basically I'm going to bring the camera in close and we're going to show you, we're going to brown this steak first, get it browned, and we'll put our onion in there and cook the onion until it's translucent in my old cast iron skillet. I've used this thing for years and years, but I've got it heating up right now. I'm going to give you a close-up of what we're doing in just a second. But it's a real simple recipe. I'm all about simple when I'm at camp. I don't want a bunch of utensils to clean up and all that kind of stuff, so this is about as basic. This skillet with this lid right here will do a lot of your camp cooking. I guarantee you it will. So let's bring the camera in close and let's brown our meat and then get that going right here. Brown our venison, and then we will we won't put the rice in, folks, until the meat is tender, and then the rice will be the last thing we add. And you know, if you put a cup of rice, we'll probably add about 1.5 cups of water. The key is at the last, when you get to the point where you're cooking the rice, you don't want it to stick, so make sure and stir it a lot, and we'll get into that as we go along. So let's take a look at this steak browning. What do you say? Well folks, here's our old cast iron skillet. What do you say we go ahead and brown these cubes, these little cubes of venison? Drop them in there. It's going to take a little while for them to brown out like we want them to. This is just cubed up venison steak, folks. It's actually from the top round of the steak is what it is. Nothing magic about it. Just drop it in there, and our grease is pretty hot. It's going to get a little bit hotter, and we'll get this going real good. Get it browned up. Let's see here. It's okay to get a little extra flour in there too, folks, because that's going to help make the gravy. It's beginning to sizzle a little bit there. Oh yeah. Now then. And this is about a pound of venison, cubed up venison steak. And it's going to take about probably 45 minutes with the lid on in moisture to get this very tender. But when we get through, this venison steak is going to be as tender as any steak you've ever eaten. Now then, okay, we've got it in there. Let's kind of stir it around a little bit. Try to get it all going. And at this point, you can go ahead and brown the steak in your skillet like this, and it won't take very long for it to brown. Or, you know, you can put the onions in there right now. It really doesn't make any difference. I think I'll go ahead and add our onions and let this all saute and cook until it's brown. Now, it will not be tender at that point, but it will be brown. So let's put our onions in. Stir the onions in with it. So, what we're going to do is let this cook for about, it'll probably take it about 5 or 8 minutes, something like that, to brown. And then we're going to come back and add our mushroom soup and water and stir it all up, and then we'll put the lid on it. Okay, folks, our steak is pretty well browned right now. This is what we're looking for. Just get it browned. It's not at all tender, but it's actually done. You know, it's cooked probably 160 degrees, but it's not tender. So what we're going to, our finished product here is going to be smothered steak with rice and gravy. So at this point, let's go ahead and incorporate our cream of mushroom soup. You can use any kind of mushroom soup you like, but that skillet's real hot. Just spoon that in there, stir it around, mix it around real good. Now, if we were to just put the lid on that right now, it would cook for a little while, but then it would reduce all the moisture. So let's add some water to it at this point. We're going to probably put this much water, you know, about a can of water in there. So let's add the water and mix it all the time where it'll all be incorporated well. Remember, some of this water is going to cook out, and then we're going to later need some water, some moisture in here when we put our rice in. Folks, this is some of the best smothered steak you can imagine. Let's just put a whole bottle of water in there. Now then, a little black pepper, a little extra black pepper. I've already seasoned that meat, but let's put a little black pepper. You got to have that, because remember, we've diluted everything with the cream of mushroom soup there, and a little extra salt. Okay, because we're seasoning for the finished product, which will have rice in it. Folks, let's do this now. Let's take our old lid. See how it's got the little dog ear here? Fit it right down on that, right there. And let's let this cook for, after about 30 minutes, I'll stir it. And then when we come back, it'll be tender and done. We're gonna add the rice to it at that point. Okay, folks, let's pull the lid on our old cast iron skillet here and see how our steak is looking. Oh yeah, that's just the right consistency. Let me check that for tenderness. I bet it's going to be falling off the bone. Oh yeah, cuts easily with a spoon. So right here, folks, this is ready for rice. And remember, it takes rice about 20 minutes to cook, 25, because we're going to be cooking at a low temperature. That gravy's just right. Steak, rice, and gravy in one skillet. That's what I'm all about when I'm out at camp. Really, really easy to do. And you know, if you don't have a skillet like this or a Dutch kettle, heavy-duty cast iron, you need to think about getting one, folks. This lid right here makes this work magic, you know, this old heavy-duty lid. It really does. It tenderizes stuff really well. So, okay, let's go ahead and put our rice in here. It's about the right amount of rice. We're not going to put quite all of that. Then let's stir it up here. Stir it real good from the bottom. You don't want, this is not sticking so far, which is good. And we're going to need to add about twice as much water as we added to that added rice. So that's going to be about right. Stir that all up. See, that'll give you some extra moisture in there for that rice, to cook that rice. Okay, now, the lid back on it. Put the little dog ears down to this right there. And let's let that cook for about 25 minutes. And when we get through, folks, we're going to have steak, rice, and gravy all in the old cast iron skillet. We'll put some on a plate and show it to you. The only problem is you're not here with me to enjoy this. So let's let her cook a little bit and we'll come back and see what the finished product looks like. Okay, folks, we've had our rice cooking about actually 22 minutes. So let's pull the top off of this old cast iron skillet. Smothered steak, rice, and gravy. Let's get a good, try not to dribble this too much, but of course we are outside. Check this out, folks. I checked the steak earlier, it is so tender. But there's your one skillet meal. Venison steak cubed up. Of course, you can use any kind of game meat. You can use beef if that's what you want to use. But that is so tasty. I think, as they say, it's about time to get back to our regular programming. I hope you've enjoyed our little camp cooking dish this week. We'll try to bring you one each week, something new and something different. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. This segment of our show is brought to us by Gearhead Archery, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, Smoking Texas Electric Smokers, TRHP Outdoors, Ultramatic Feeders, and Catfish Pro Catfish Bait and Catfishing Supplies. Make sure and tune in next week. We'll have another exciting show ready to go for you.